Hey there, basketball fans. Welcome to the Dynasty Hoop Show. I'm Craig.
I'm Brad.
Today we're going to be talking about DeMarcus Cousins, his injury, and how it's going to affect the Lakers. On Friday, August 16th, DeMarcus Cousins tore his ACL during a practice. How does this affect the Lakers' season? Where do they go from here?
It hurts him a lot more than you'd think. Boogie was really good for the Warriors last year. His on-off numbers might not have been great, but his per 36-minute numbers were awesome. He was really good. He was efficient. The guy can shoot. He can pass. When he's motivated, he can defend. He's a monster, and it really hurts them. They had a huge advantage, literally. Their size was going to be tremendous in the West. And now with him out, you're asking Anthony Davis to possibly play some 5. You're going to possibly be asking LeBron to play some 4.
Which neither of them want to do.
Exactly. So it hurts them. It really does. Now you're asking a lot more from JaVale McGee, who's great for 20 minutes, but can you expect that out of 30 minutes from that guy? Who are they going to bring in to fill in Boogie's spot? A lot of questions.
I think with the Warriors last year, he was very underrated. And I mean, it's really hard to come back from an Achilles. I've never torn my Achilles, but for basketball and for big men in particular, that's one of the worst injuries to try to come back from. And I remember the first game he played in, and I was watching, I was like, that dude came back from an Achilles tear. I can't remember the team he was playing, but he was lighting it up. He was getting up and down the court, knocking down threes, and playing pretty efficiently. Yes, his star fell a little bit, but I was very impressed. And to be honest, I feel terrible for Boogie. This is 3 straight injuries in 3 straight seasons that have just kind of derailed his career. And I hope he can get back from this one, because as much as I don't like DeMarcus Cousins, I love DeMarcus Cousins on the court.
I think the thing that people forget about is he seems like he's a little crazy or a little aloof, but he's actually a really good guy. I mean, you look what he's done in the community, you look what he's done for kids in his home state of Alabama, what he did in his entire time in Sacramento, what he did when he was in New Orleans. He's donated millions and millions and millions of dollars. Like, he's a guy you should root for.
And you've met him a couple times when you've worked for the Jazz or interacted with him, right?
I mean, it was like head nods and what's ups, but he was always just, I don't know, you can just tell he's a cool guy. It was pretty obvious he was just a good dude. It bums me out. I mean, he was a guy who bet on himself, who turned down a lot of money from the Pelicans, and as a result ended up getting a small contract from the Warriors, hoping that he'd have a great season, win a championship, use that to leverage himself into a potentially max deal. Wasn't able to get that. Got paid $3 million. Don't know if his career is ever going to be the same. And it's a bummer. I mean, it's a huge bummer for the guy.
One thing I will say about his personality and his motivation that I do have a lot of respect for, when he was coming out of college, there was a sports writer that tweeted out, what are the odds that in 5 years or less, Boogie's going to be in jail rather than in the NBA? 5 years to the day from that tweet, Boogie retweeted it and basically said, look where I'm at.
So do you think he's ever going to, like, do you think he'll play again? Like, where do you think he'll be a year from now?
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if at this point he's a ring chaser. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw him with the Clippers next year trying to ring chase with Kawhi and Paul George. I don't know why, but I could also see him going to Boston. I think he'd be an upgrade over Cantor over there. That one's a hard question to ask, because once you get labeled as being injury prone, it's really hard to find a landing spot.
Anytime you talk to like a sports medicine expert, an orthopedic surgeon, anybody along those lines, they say that you're never 100% after an Achilles tear. Like, you just lose explosiveness. And in a game like basketball, that's really hard. If you look at all the players in history who've torn their Achilles, maybe the guy who got closest to being what he was pre-injury was Dominique Wilkins. And he tore his Achilles when he was like 32 or 33. And he came back and was still able to be a 25-point-a-game scorer. But you think of guys like Elton Brand, you think of Brandon Jennings, and Achilles is kind of a death knell. And the other thing is, it also makes you so much more susceptible to other injuries, which Boogie got to see in rapid succession. You know, with his quad rupture and then an ACL tear within, what's it been, 3 months?
Yeah.
So I think because of that, I think so much of his explosiveness is going to be sapped that I don't know if he's ever going to be Boogie again. He'll probably play, you know, be a nice role player. Like, you kind of think of like late career David West, went from being an all-star to playing 15 minutes a game off the bench for the Warriors. Seeing something like that might be in his future, and he can still carve a nice rollout from that. It's just, I don't know if he'll ever be the same.
Moving along to the Lakers side of this, how do they move forward? I know there's been reports that they're looking at Joakim Noah, they're looking at Dwight Howard. Is there anybody available right now that they could even pick up that would be serviceable, that would be worth their while?
If only they could turn back the clock and get Thomas Bryant back, or Ivica Zubac back, or even Mo Wagner back. I think any of those guys would be a nice fill-in who would give you good, solid minutes. I worry about Dwight. Dwight is a numbers guy. His numbers look good if you look at his stats the last few seasons, but how many teams has he played on since he was on the Lakers last in 2013?
It seems like teams just can't get rid of him fast enough. 1 year with the Hawks, 1 year with the Hornets, 1 year with the Wizards. Probably going to get bought out by Memphis, who they're tanking and they don't want him. Sorry, don't mean to pile on Dwight, but he's just not Superman anymore like he was with the Orlando Magic.
Yeah, he's just kind of a weird guy that teammates don't like. He loves candy bars, Skittles, Snickers, Starburst. He still is really talented. He's still going to grab a lot of rebounds. It's just his teams cannot, like you said, they cannot get him off the team fast enough. So if the Lakers brought him in, I think from a numbers perspective, he'd be okay, but I don't think he helps them at all, like even remotely. I actually kind of like Joakim Noah for them, because Joakim Noah in his heyday was an elite passer, a defensive player of the year caliber player. He's a really, really good teammate. He's a communicator. He works hard. He was never an elite like finisher around the rim. He's not a lob threat. He's pretty good. He just has a really funky jump shot.
Link down in the description for the tornado.
But he actually had a pretty good bounce back here from Memphis last year. The only issue with Noah is injuries, which unfortunately is the case with Dwight, which was the case with Boogie, pretty much any option out there. But I kind of like Joakim Noah for them.
I do like him. That guy plays with heart and passion and hustle. He'd be a great teammate. People love him. He's kind of a funny but goofy, kind of weird guy. At this point, what other options do the Lakers really have, though?
What they really should do is Anthony Davis should play the 5. LeBron should play the 4.
That opens up options for them.
Even if LeBron plays point guard like he's been talking about, then you can put Kuzma at the 4 and your lineup's just a little bit more smooth. AD doesn't want to do it, so I don't know how reasonable it is. I think JaVale is really good. Like, I think JaVale McGee in 20 minutes a game is awesome. The problem is they're going to need JaVale to play more than that, or they're going to need to find somebody that can play with JaVale to give you 35, 40 minutes of center play a night. And I don't know. We'll see.
Go ahead and let us know what you think in the comments. Who have we missed? Who else is still out there available for the Los Angeles Lakers to pick up? Give us a like and a subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be updated when we upload our newest videos. And thank you for watching.